One.
Now you're live, and I'm pixelated.
Welcome to Double Funnel TV.
Yes. Oh, wait. I can't be heard not the right way anyway. Here we go. Better? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
All right.
You clicked in.
I clicked in. Sorry, one of those mornings.
All good.
All good. All good.
I've had all sorts of ideas.
All sorts of ideas. You and
I
ideas.
I need to verify or find a keyword tool.
All right. So I've got several. What do you actually need from a keyword tool? What are you looking to accomplish?
I am looking to accomplish keywords that people are searching that would fall into a potential book title.
Can we do this live?
We could, but I just thought of this stuff, so I'd like to do it on the side first.
I'll show just real quick. Let me see if I can share the right screen. I have to share my Be Live one because the best tools use Chrome when it comes for this. There's a couple paid tools that I use that do very something. Well, they actually do something far more robust, but you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little slow today. I had a couple trolls on Google. I let them get under my skin.
That's never fun.
No, it's okay. All right, so make sure everyone can see it. All right, so if I go, I'm in Chrome. I completely forgot which extension this is, so let me go look it up.
Well, it's interesting because I'm going at this differently than I ever have.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Absolutely, right now.
So
keywords everywhere.
Yeah.
Dash keyword tool. Free keyword search volume for 15 plus websites like Google Analytics, Google Chrome Console, Moz, Majestic. Okay, all that yumminess. So a lot of this can be really expensive. I use a SERPstat. I use a tool that's a paid tool. But this one I like because it's super easy. I don't know how to get out of this. Okay, well, let me out of Chrome extensions.
So it's a keywords everywhere Chrome extension.
Yeah, keywords everywhere. So watch what happens. So marketing strategy. So let's see if I can pull this out a little wider. It's still populating. Okay, here it goes. So you can't hardly see it, but right under the search toolbar, right? It shows that there are 74,000 people searching this word a month. That the cost per click on it is $1.75 per click. I mean, this is average, right? You have to consider where the numbers are coming from. The competition, 21. But here's the thing. 582 million results. So yes, you're competing, like there's not, given the amount of results that are populating for marketing strategy, it's not a high volume. Marketing strategy examples. Do another one. So this one has about half the number of people doing stuff on the internet about it, has slightly less volume, about the same cost per click, a little less competition. But then here's on the other side, it'll also start getting you related keywords and the order that people actually use them in with the volume, the cost per click, and the competition. So marketing strategy template, cost per click goes way up to $6.08. Volume goes way down. Successful marketing strategy examples, cost per click goes up. Volume goes way down. So here's an example. This is where I love from my clients. Changing marketing strategy examples. 0 people searching that, 0 people paying for it. So sometimes when business owners are like, no, I want to talk about this. And I'm just like, no, nobody is searching that for your blog.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I had a couple epiphany conversations yesterday.
Of course you did. Did you do it with yourself?
No. They're actually with people. I mean, some are visible, some are not, but
Hey, that's the whole definition of Think and Grow Rich, but not the whole premise.
yeah. No, I mean, it was it was interesting. You know, you just have these different conversations. And so what I realized was I started, I've got this book that I've been working on for a long time. It hasn't come together necessarily, you know, one of those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and last night I got this epiphany that I think part of it is I have been very safe in my thinking.
I agree, because that's how I felt today. I felt like I've stepped out of my bubble the last 2 weeks, and I've taken a beating on it from the trolls on the internet. It's easy to be safe because you never have to take the negativity. You don't have to take the people arguing against your point.
Yeah, no, and I don't really care about that. I mean, it's funny, but
girls.
What?
It gets to us women.
No, I know. But I mean, it was just one of those where all of a sudden I started thinking about Jeremy just said I'm an entrepreneur. Jeremy, right? That's pretty funny. No, anyway, so in thinking about it, I'm thinking about a couple of different things because I had a conversation with a millennial business owner this morning, and so that partially was getting me thinking in a different way. And so all of a sudden I went, well, if I really want to get the point across with what's all available within this book, if I say it the way I originally think about it, mm-hmm. It's like, I'm sure there might be a boomer or two that pick up the book and do all that. But wait a second, it's far more than that. I mean, it's significantly far more than that, right? And so it just got me thinking, so what do I need to do? And it's kind of like, so what got the other thing that flashed into my head is, did you see when Sean publicized his webinar, 4 Easy Steps to a Bikini Waxing?
I did.
You know,
that took me backward.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I said, what was that? And he goes, I know nothing about this subject. And I go, well, I kind of figured that, but what was and he goes, well, it was about creating an attention-getting headline. I said, well, you accomplished it. And so that's what got me thinking, right? This combination of thinking. And I think I actually have, and I'll tell you offline, but I actually am pretty excited about what I thought of, but it's not necessarily the way that I would say it. Here's what's funny. It's not necessarily the way I would say it publicly, typically. I would say it to a friend in a heartbeat.
There's a whole, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. And I've just found that the more I'm me, the more I sell and the more people I attract to my circle.
Well, and that's actually kind of what I was thinking.
So is saying it the way we normally would, I think, is a great way of aligning to our avatar better.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I went with it. And as soon as I thought of the one, then I went off after multiples of it. And, you know, I tweaked it around a couple different ways. And so that's why then all of a sudden, because I could say the similar concept multiple ways, then all of a sudden it came into, well, what are people searching for? Because again, I think there's a lot of times where we get, I mean, this is part of today's training, very seriously, is I don't train anything I don't do myself, right? It's one of those kind of things. And so I'm sitting here going, and sometimes we think that our stuff is so clever and so good. And, you know, our stuff is great, but I can't believe somebody else would say that. Or, any of those kinds of things. So that's really where this came from, is as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a whatever. It all started actually, well, it started yesterday in a couple of those conversations. And then last night I went and I ripped all the copy off of all my sites. Meaning I pulled all existing copy into a
Document.
into a document.
Okay. I was like, please tell me you just didn't delete it. I'm going to have a heart attack.
No, I didn't delete it. You think I am a chucklehead? No. But what I'm going to, this is the other thing I want to talk to you about, because I want to rebuild it all in Kyvio. And I thought about what I wanted to do. And I mean, literally, I was laying there trying to get to sleep, and I couldn't get to sleep. And it was like,
you were that kind of excited, huh?
It was like all of a sudden I thought, here's what I want to do with Kyvio, and here's why I want to do it, and here's what has to happen. And so all of a sudden I went to my sites and I started just pulling all existing copy. Because, now you can build pages of similar structure, throw in that copy, and then go to perfect.
Yep. Exactly.
It would be much easier if Kyvio just had the click the button, pop it in thing.
What do you mean? Oh, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a good test site for that. Because I want to pull two sites into one.
Is that your Scott Schilling and
Talking with Giants?
Okay.
Yeah. So I pulled all the copy off of all of that last night. It was just weird. I couldn't.
That's a good start for a book, though. Is like if you set a regular schedule and you outline certain content that you want to be included in your book, and you just write the best blog post you can for each one. If you were to take all those, put them in the book, get an editor, add some stories in there. Grab a few other people to write some stories. I thought that was actually one of the most genius aspects of Talking with Giants, or even something like Canfield's chicken noodle soup.
Chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah, there you go. Is that you don't have to write everything in the book. In fact, you do better when you use other people's writing too.
Well, like I said, I've got it was very interesting. I had a very good friend. He has been on the cover of magazines as the most influential unknown guy in the industries that he represents. Okay. He is responsible for so much that nobody knows about. And he's not trying to be known. So that's not a big thing for him, But anyway, it was so weird because, again, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately.
Mm-hmm.
And so yesterday morning, I texted him way early and I just said, any chance we can chat for a few minutes today? And I mean, within a second, literally within a minute, he sends me a thing and he said, well, I'll be driving to the airport later on. I'll call you on the way. I said, okay. So he told me the time, right? So we had that conversation and it's funny because I think people hear me talk about it's all about relationships and it's all about all this stuff. And that's so true. I haven't talked to this guy in probably a year. No, that's not true. I talked to him the May 31st last year was the last time I talked to him. It's funny because we were at an event and I ran into him. So I just happened to remember the day. And yet when we talked yesterday, he said, I'd do anything for it. That's why you work to get your depth of relationships. You treat people with dignity, honor, and respect, because then if you do have a question, I'm very fortunate to have some pretty cool people that I can reach out to. And so anyway, I asked this question in a totally different way, different area. And he gave me the answer, and it wasn't necessarily the answer I wanted to hear, but it was the answer. He had lost his connections with the people that I was looking to connect with, but he explained why.
Yeah.
all good things. They moved on. And then he goes, so are we done with this topic? And I went, well, it's kind of an abrupt transition, And he goes, no, because I just want to talk to you about what you really called me for. It was like, what? He goes, because before when we set up the text that we were going to talk later, he goes, I went inward and I asked, what are we supposed to talk about today? And I got an answer. And so I'm ready to talk about that. It was like, oh. And so then we did.
So we did.
And so with that, but that's the value of, again, how you do all this stuff. And, you have those relationships. Anyway, that took me down a path and I started thinking about some other things. And that's why the sites and what we've got with Kyvio, and okay, it all needs to be assimilated in one location and, blah, 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 all these different things.
And blah, 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 blah.
It makes no sense to have multiple tools out there doing the same things, right?
Nope, that makes sense.
So anyway, then that led me to the next thing, which has now led me into book titles, which then led me into keyword search. People are sitting here going, what the hell is he talking about? But it shows you what happens when you're an entrepreneur, and it shows you the value of having a mastermind group. And a mastermind, by Hill's definition, is when two or more minds come together, a third and greater mastermind is created. That you have people that you can bounce things off of. You've got to have your own board. You should have and what's interesting about this is what I realized is when I produce this book, it's going to give me the opportunity to help my board members even better.
That's true.
Because I'm going to be able to people are going to ask about certain things outside my sphere, and I'm going to direct them to my board members, right? I'll direct them to my trusted, vetted resources. So this is how things happen as an entrepreneur. You're constantly working on things, and whatever, done is the new perfect. So last night was a matter of getting that done, pulling that information. The next thing will be creating so I looked through Kyvio templates way too late last night.
Oh.
Yuck. But again, so it just spurred a conversation for you and I later.
There we go.
So as we were talking about training today, and we were talking about how do you use digital platforms, how do you use social media, how do you all the different things. Again, I said it yesterday for those that might have seen it or heard it, but it takes typically 60% of all business is done in the 5th attempt or after.
Now, is that could that be even longer? So
yes,
we had
could be much.
Roland Fraser at War Room was doing a presentation with Perry Belcher, and let me see if I can pull his up real quick. But his was like really high. He said they did some new research, and it was based off of really in depth. What's it called? Attribution. So that every single touch point is all tracked, right? So not just that last one or just the first one, but every single one. And it was like 27 touch points and over 200 micro touches. So like them doing some kind of search online.
Wow.
200 micro ones. I mean, if that's for a car, that's like, 20 to 50 grand, depending on the car. But still, like, oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, I think that makes, here's the difference, or what intuitively just came to me when you said that, is because of the internet, because of the availability of information. the more information that's available, the more people will seek out that information. So the fact that all of a sudden there are more points of comparison, there are more things to have, people will seek more of those things. So therefore there will be more touch points.
Yeah, it's like the 200 micro ones. I mean, that one didn't, because like you said, you get up late at night, you have an idea, you go Googling all over the internet, and you go watch somebody's videos. You know, like John bought Garrett White's program that we were funnel hacking, and you know, he watched every single one of those videos until they stacked up really quickly, right?
Right.
But the idea of having like as high, I think it was like 27, as high as 27 touches before a cell is closed, like actual touches. That's a lot. And when you talk about most people never even make it to 5.
Well, and there is a difference in the two studies. And so again, not trying to make it apples to apples, because I don't think it is apples to apples. I think that the key to this is that the Notre Dame study was specifically about salespeople making an approach. And I think that it was more of a how does a human being approach this? Well, the human aspect of it is the human being quits a lot, right? They get frustrated, or their attention span, or squirrel, squirrel. I mean, everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but I think I think anything, let's put it this way, I don't think it's any shorter than that, right?
There's no way.
I don't think it's any shorter than that. So if that becomes the nominal baseline, that it takes at least that, and it could be as much as, right? But it was very interesting. Again, I was ripping my own sites, right? I was pulling the content off my own sites. There's actually a lot of pretty good stuff there. That's the good news.
You sound that like you're so shocked. Wow, man, my web does all of that content I wrote. It's not too shabby.
Well, I am kind of shocked at it, and here's why. Because I haven't looked at my own sites in forever. I mean, that's the reason for wow, that's actually pretty good. That there really isn't a whole lot that needs to be done with that, right? Which is thankful. I'm thankful for that, okay? But the other side of it is nobody's seeing it. And so that's the reason for Kyvio okay, now we got to get more strategic about getting it out there. I mean, there's some really cool stuff on there. That's what I was proudest of.
Okay.
There's some really cool stuff out there.
This was the quote I was looking at. Oops, where did it go?
It takes 21 to 24 touches.
Yeah. No, I can't find it.
I don't.
Oh. It did its own thing. Sorry.
Sure it did. You just wanted to see you. I know how this works.
I know. And of course it's going to make me scroll, but I wanted to make sure I had the right numbers.
Yeah, but
that was by Google. Think with Google did this. This is what happens when I try to zoom in. I give up.
Anyway, but I mean, that's my point is I agree with you. And so now all of a sudden you go, wait a second, I have some pretty, this is self-reflection. I've got some pretty good tools. I've got some pretty good stuff. But if nobody sees it, it's like it doesn't exist. Okay, so what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to refreshen it. We're going to go with a strategy. What actually started all this was thinking about the relay that quote with Zig and I that you built. Mm-hmm. And I started going, well, it would be great to post that. Well, what I really need is I have had in the past kind of a Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame quotes area on my site. Mm-hmm. Well, that site pulled down, but I didn't rebuild that way, which was really kind of a shame. So I got to thinking about, again, this is how you take all of this at some point and you put it back together and go, man, there's some really good stuff here. It's like salespeople who have a really good closing process. In other words, they have a really good sales presentation and they've got a really good process and it's worked very well for them for years. And all of a sudden they go to an event and somebody says the only way to close a deal is X. And so they leave what's worked forever behind and they
That
go
never
to
happens.
X. They go to X. They don't test it. They just go to it. And all of a sudden everything falls apart and it's like, well, I don't understand. Well, because you don't own it yet, it's not you, blah, 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 right?
Right.
Anyway, so I saw all this stuff last night and I went, the good news is it's going to be fresh to a lot of people.
Right. Right.
But I mean, that's where content is king or queen.
Right.
That's what you want to do is you want to, and so from a sales side, if we know that we have to have 21 to 24 touches, or if there is a feel that is the appropriate thing to do, all 21 to 24 cannot be, do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy?
They cannot at all.
It's got to be, hey, I'm here for you. Hey, I'm here for you. Hey, I do this. Hey, I can help here.
Or here's some information.
Or here's some information. Or here's something on a friend. Or here's this. Or here's that. And
yeah,
by the way,
they cannot all be buy.
Right. And so again, that's why it started to become Kyvio is the first tool that I've had where I can kind of take all that and wrap it into one. In other words, blog builder, right? Having the funnel, having the landing pages, having the affiliate program, having the membership site. It's all there.
I get that.
Why don't I use it? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where it came around, as opposed to going. So again, that's what I say. I got sites sitting on. They're nice WordPress sites. They're good looking sites. They're, they're nice. But it's not connected, and they're not communicating, and all that. It doesn't do anybody any good. So again, from a sales training side, be congruent and consistent with what you're doing.
No, and that's probably good for everything in life.
Very true. Well, that's what this friend said to me. He goes, "You've been through so much stuff that would have knocked, or that does knock other people down, or knocks them out, or you just take it as another challenge, fight through it, and go on." He said, that could really help people. I was like, it's funny, you're so close to your own stuff, you don't even realize that. It's just what you do.
Right.
But that's actually part of the message. It's just what you do. Right?
It is. It's amazing how that works out. So, what was part of the specific training for today?
Well, I think that, specifically understand, and Rayanne even said it, if nobody sees it, it doesn't exist. And so it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how whatever. It's, I think it's, brand imaging. That's why I'm wondering about this this book title, because it's kind of I'm not sure that it crosses brand imaging or not, because it's a little, I actually really like it. So that's why I look forward to sharing it with you here soon. But because I think you'll actually like it a lot.
Good to know.
No, I mean, I really do. And again, I don't think anybody puts anything out without trying to serve other people or help other people or do whatever.
Yeah.
I watched a great video this morning, and he said there isn't a single business that's ever been built without the premise of whatever the business is built around is designed to serve somebody else. It sounds so simple, but it's such a great premise.
Right.
There is not a business, there is not an action you take, there is not a whatever that if you haven't built it for somebody else, it won't be sustainable. And so I think that's a big part of, from a training side, is how can you serve the marketplace? What does the marketplace want? What is the marketplace asking for? And those are the things that you put in your social media. Those are the things that you put in your digital response stuff. That's
Yeah.
It doesn't do you any good to offer, offer a free gift that nobody wants. What are you accomplishing?
Right.
Okay, so in everything that you're doing with your outbound, that's where it comes back to the what's in it for them. Why would they want this? Who could this help? How clear is your message? All those different things. And I think part of the reasons that this is so top of mind for me is my message has not, because I said it to this friend yesterday, and I said, it's interesting because I'm not sure. I'm kind of caught in between actually executing some things and then training some things. And he said, you're such a great speaker and trainer. Why are you not doing that all the time? And I go, well, I do these other things until this happens. And he said, it doesn't work that way. He said, stop it.
Yeah.
So so the book actually crystallizes, because then you got to go talk about that information. That actually was a clarity point. That's why this has all come up. So it's interesting how when you get some wise counsel and you take wise counsel, all of a sudden you get a little bit of, hey, that makes some sense, right? I should hone that in. I should rein that in.
Always helpful to narrow it down and focus. Niche it a little bit. I've heard it's niche.
It is niche. Niche is actually the word. So anyway, from a digital presentation side, think of it this way. The reason people are not paying what you're asking is because they don't believe they're going to get the value in return equal to or more than what you have delivered. People pay for value delivered.
Yep.
And so, again, if you're not out there providing good messaging, helping where you can, I'm not saying give away the farm, but give away something that you can give away.
Right.
Make sure that your posts, one of the things is I've created a series of social media posts for one particular portion and just let those fly, right? Make sure that you're putting something. So again, a lot of what you're doing with that's why you should hire Jenna to do this if you're not doing this. Have her create the 365 days of social media posts, because you've got to have a presence. And I can assure you there is going to be a day out of the 365 that you just really don't want to do it. And there's probably going to be more than one. Right?
Right.
So
I hope so.
Well, no, but I mean, that's why you create your team. Stay in your core genius and let your team support that.
That's true.
Right? So what other?
So when is your book coming out?
Well, here's what's interesting. The vast majority of content is actually already on paper. It might need to get tweaked around a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. People sit and to answer the question is I'm doing an event a month from now, a month and 4 days from now. Boy, I'd really like to have it at that event. Whew, that's aggressive. That's aggressive.
Yeah, you could totally have it ready and PDF ready and edited in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Have it sent off to the book publisher, right?
Mm-hmm. It's actually doable. And
it's doable with some serious dedication.
Yes, exactly. That's why I was up last night. I mean, I'm saying sometimes it takes thought and planning and whatever, but then once it's time to go, it's time to go. You go make those things happen. But anyway, I think it'd be fun to have by May 1.
May 1. April. I think you could do it, but you'd have to seriously have the book done very soon for editing. Very.
Yes, I would. Well, there's there's actually a couple of different ways of doing. I could do it as a standalone book, the way it stands today, or I could feature a few people in it, which means then I'd have to connect with them and get some information from them.
Yeah.
Which that always becomes a fun and wonderful opportunity to do a book that way, because other people's time frames are not your time frames.
No. That is a lot to produce. And then there's always the debate, because you can get a book out there really fast, but getting a book that you're proud of, that has longevity out there, that's harder.
Well, I actually think this is probably my legacy book. So that's the
legacy book.
The legacy book. I think it's why I've been put through everything I've been put through is for this book. It's pretty important, I would think.
No, books are always big. Were you thinking about making it an EPO, like you said, standalone book? Do you mean like it would be sold alone, or standalone, like it doesn't need a novel number 2, or what?
No, I think it actually could be made into a series. But I think what I mean by standalone is just me writing. That there's no contributions per se, other than what I know from conversations and including things like that. There's not a purposeful outreach to people to put them in the book, kind of thing. But no,
Yeah.
it would actually become. I think it actually becomes the foundation for a lot of training and for a lot of speeches, a lot of talks, because of the nature of the topic.
So I actually ordered. They're at my office. So if you and Sean want to stop by after the meeting tomorrow, we had the Garrett White book we ordered here live, right? To
Right.
hack his funnel. I also got the one from ClickFunnels for their One Funnel Away challenge, because that particular one, when they did it as a live summit, was bringing in almost 800 leads a day.
Wow.
I know, right? But I actually got the box in both of them. I mean, Garrett's a ClickFunnels guy. right? So this doesn't surprise me that Garrett has one, right? But just opening the box, everything about it is perfect.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Sally Hogshead said that she did when she was struggling, so she had a book, is she kind of put something together, kind of like what Garrett did, except it wasn't something that people bought. But she just got she got 100 boxes, filled them all up really nicely, put her book in there, made them like experiences when you open them up, and then sent them off to like 100 ideal clients and booked her entire year for her speaking gigs.
Right. Well, I think that's an awesome idea. I think that's the way this book is going to be. And so that's the only thing when I think of a May 1st deadline or self-imposed deadline. The content and production that side isn't. I've actually got the vast majority of it, I think.
I think it's the editing, making sure that it's edited well together, that there's nice little story arcs, overlaying something like the Story Brand by Donald Miller. And I've noticed in every great book I've ever read and every movie I've seen, they end where they begin. So whatever one of the big stories that you're telling at the front is, or the opening line, the opening problem, something of that nature, that is exactly where it ends at.
Because you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and you tell them what you told them.
But I mean, even more than that.
No, I know.
Watch a movie, though, like even, if it starts with a dad and a daughter holding hands, then it ends with the daughter holding her son's hand, thinking about her dad, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain until like I determined that one movie, and I started realizing on every single movie, wherever it begins is where the movie ends.
No, I think that's great. And that's the only part. I think that there's so much potential content with this that I think that becomes the key, is to have it very structured, fine-tuned, whatever. I mean, it's funny. I was listening to, and maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. There it is, my little Zoom, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's so I record, hopefully I record all of my talks, but, I'm not going to say it remembers to come along with me every time. But so I was listening to a talk I did almost 3 years ago now to a group. And it's funny because a lot of times when I do a talk, I get caught up in the flow and almost channel. You're saying things, you're just on this topic and you're going and you're saying things, and you don't necessarily always know exactly what you're saying. And not meaning that it's not accurate. You really don't know the words that are coming out of your mouth, And so I go back and listen to it, and it's like, oh, damn, that was pretty good. Or, I don't know that I've ever said that before. One of those kind of things. So I found one of those recordings yesterday for 1 hour and 14 minutes. And it was like, again, this was one of those retrospective days. You just kind of turn inward and listen to some of this stuff, and you go, wow, that's pretty valuable stuff. How has that been sitting on this flipping hard drive for all this time? Mm-hmm. That needs to get out, And so again, these are things that you have to believe that the timing and plan are perfect, and it all shows up when it's supposed to, and you're ready to do it when you're ready to do it, and all that kind of good stuff. That's kind of where I am. I mean, again, it's had we not been doing double funnel TV and doing all this stuff with the funnels and a lot of this is very eye-opening because you sit there and you look at what people are doing and you go, God, they're doing a great job of that. And why am I not doing that? It's crazy. And most of it is, well, you just didn't know you could.
Right.
And that's kind of why, and I totally appreciate your position as an expert digital marketer to want to put together the best tools possible. Right?
Well, because there's a lot of bad ones.
Well, no, I totally get it. And because you've got that extra piece of knowledge, that makes sense, right? But I'm sitting here going, well, we could really make a model of me. It's not about me, but of me, my position, speaker, trainer, author, coach. Here's what a speaker, trainer, author, coach can do within Kyvio, right? And have all the sections that are already in the tool fully active, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, I've never had it available before. I've had to have this tool over here and this tool over here and this tool over here. And so it's kind of like it's like a revelation. It's like, wow, this could be really cool and fun.
It could. I wish, I've been holding off on so many launches. I've got a couple JV partners I really want to work with. I still want to continue the discussion we were having about, I don't know what you're going to do with the book or that, but making sure that you're featured on BG as well as kind of like a partner or faculty member. And
no, I want to
start putting this out there.
That's what I want to do too. And
I'm just waiting for Kyvio. I don't want to launch it on the old platform.
I know.
And have to move that many members because the JV partners I want to work with, they'll put 2,000 people in a weekend.
Well, but that's why let's put, seriously, because my stuff shouldn't take that long.
To move over?
Yeah, to move over and to build those pages and to do what I'm thinking and to get some of this stuff set. And so then if there is a move or a major change, number one, I'm already inside the system that's going to change. So hopefully they may help with some of that if that's needed. But we're already there, right? I mean, we can make that. And my stuff has to get done anyway. To make it work for BGN, it has to be put together anyway. I mean, it's kind of why I'm thinking of this all, right? Let's grow businesses and let's get some people really humming and doing that. Well, if we can't work on all of that right this second, let's put all my stuff together in a coordinated effort. Then we can drop it in there.
Exactly.
Or parallel or whatever. So anyway, that's all this. It's funny how a few conversations can, sales is all about, I said this to Sean the other day. I said, I don't think anybody ever is out there not working to do the best they can. I just don't think that's the human psyche. Well, I'm just going to be a total goof off and not give a crap about anything. I just don't think that's the way people are, right? I think they're doing the best they can with what they know at that time. And then they learn more, and then they can do more. And so it's this constant evolution. And the only thing that stops evolution is stop trying to evolve, is to kind of give up and just go, eh. And so that's why, again, people sit there and say, you're doing all this stuff. Well, yeah, because we're really working to figure out how I can serve more people, right? That's why we're doing double funnel TV, so we can serve more people. Do we have the format exactly perfect? Who knows? Do we have?
It's not the point.
Well, that's exactly. is anything that's said along the way value. This is the coolest part of listening to this talk that I did almost 3 years ago. It was April 16th, 2016 was the date stamp on it. So it's almost 3 years ago. And at the end, I had made a statement. I said, the reason I teach high intention, low attachment, high intention of imparting something great for each and every one of you today, and a low attachment as to what that might be for either you or for me, is to truly hope that you get something that's going to make a difference for you. And my intention is to work to put that out. And at the end of the audio, a guy goes, I just want you to say that I woke up this morning and I was totally conflicted, and I was and all this different stuff. And he goes, and I just want you to know you made a difference in me today.
Aw.
It was like, did good, right?
Oh.
So that's the stuff that's important. You know, you never know what you put out here. That's somebody.
It's been really interesting because we've been doing it now for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's been one of those things, like I will be in a sales meeting or call, and I find that it goes easier because they don't know why they recognize me. We were in the meeting with the eWomen's Network yesterday. Dagmar invited me.
Yeah.
Interesting group.
Yes.
And somebody stood up and was asking for help on, I dabbled in LinkedIn and I've done this and I've done this unsuccessfully, any ideas on what will help me? And, I walked in late because the meeting started at 10 and I was kind of here at 10, right? And I was like, LinkedIn, period, dot. I don't want to go in depth, but LinkedIn. And then she looks all over me. Oh, you're Jenna Apgar. I know you. And
You're
then all of a sudden,
star.
I'm like hiding in the corner because, again, I walked in late, and there's the main board table, and there's this corners of people, everyone around, and everyone starts looking like, "Oh, hi, Jenna." I'm like, "Hi, guys." And poor Beverly, she's like, "She's been to my office." And she's like, and I was like, "I bet you don't know how you ended up at my office, do you? We don't know each other. Would you like to know how you found me?" LinkedIn. And then you have that one touch, and then then they go to your bio, right? And they look at your bio and they're like, oh, she's got this article, or oh, she's got this link, and you just kind of go down a rabbit hole, and people start knowing you without knowing that they know you.
Well, and I think that's a big part of all of this. I love training. I love helping people. It's a lot of times, as opposed to just pontificating, and teaching stuff. I'd really love if people would send us questions. What do you really want to know? I mean, one of the advantages of being on the planet for a fair period of time is you've got experience.
Yep.
You've been through this stuff. And it was interesting because, again, I was talking to this millennial this morning, and he said, well, I do a little bit of speaking. I said, well, that's really awesome. Speaking's fun. He goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a professional speaker. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, done a lot. And, done 2,500 events and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, oh my God. He said, I bet you could help me. And I said, well, depending upon what your needs are, I bet I probably can too. But isn't it interesting how you never know where or how you're going to help somebody? And so that's what I'm saying is all of this comes around. How can I serve somebody? The reason I haven't come out with this book, I can just tell you the facts. is I haven't felt comfortable that the title will draw anybody. I think the topic's very important. I have had a few people tell me the topic is very important. When I have talked to them about the book, they've told me it's very important. I haven't hit the title. I know this sounds weird, but I hadn't hit the title that I thought would attract people to grab it. And it's really funny. And all of a sudden it's like, boom, it's there. And I think it is. That's why I want to check the keywords. Isn't it interesting how just a little bit of different information flips your head, to that next level?
It does. It does. I just noticed it's 10:09.
Okay.
So we are going to talk tomorrow.
We're going to talk tomorrow?
Are we? I'm asking. You said after the meeting.
Oh, yeah. After the meeting. Yeah. I was thinking, are we doing this tomorrow morning? But you have an event.
I do.
So
I've got kitties.
Yes. So then we'll talk after the meeting tomorrow afternoon, but I'll call you after this as well, real quick.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. See everybody on Double Funnel TV on Monday. Monday.
Monday.
See you then.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.